Alright guys, welcome back, and today we have a guide with Bubba. So, this beautiful boy right here has the power of Bubba's chainsaw. Start a timed sweeping attack on activation, can hit multiple targets in one chainsaw charge. Running into an object forces the cannibal into a tantrum. This attack damages anyone around him, automatically puts survivors in the dying state on successful hit. His tantrum can put people down, and of course the chainsaw can put people down. Think of Billy, but he can't sprint across the map. He just needs to get right up on your ass and then swing it, but he can hit multiple people. Now the Cannibal comes with his 3 base perks. First, we have probably the best perk in the game, and the main reason why people actually like the Cannibal. We have Barbecue and Chili. When you hook a survivor, if there are any survivors 40 meters out, you get to see their aura for 4 seconds. You also gain a stackable bonus of blood points, up to a maximum of 100% for each unique survivor. Then we have Franklin's Demise. Your basic attacks make the survivors drop any of their items, and they lose 10% charge. Tier 1 of this, they don't lose any charge, but you still make them drop it, and that's just kind of annoying. That's really all it is. It's just kind of a meme, and it's just kind of be a dick. Then we have Knockout. Knockout, if you put a survivor into the dying state, their aura is hidden from survivors that are standing outside of 16 meters. So when they go down, survivors won't have any idea where they are. It's really good for any slugging builds, but other than that, it's still pretty much just a gimmick. Really, I mean, he's got 2 gimmicky perks, and then he's got 1 really good perk. And then we have his add-ons. His add-ons, if you know anything about Billy, his add-ons are going to be basically the same, with a few minor tweaked add-ons in here. First, we have Vegetable Oil, slightly decreases the chainsaw's cooldown. Then we have Spark Plug, slightly decreases the chainsaw's charge time. Obviously, you know, decent if you have nothing else, because you want your chainsaw to be up faster, because when you use it and you start charging it, you're actually slowed a little bit. And that slow is, I guess, supposed to make him a little more balanced in the developer's eyes. I'm really not sure why, but yeah, so you know, any kind of charge reduced time add-ons are good like this. This one's not great, but if you have something early, this is probably going to be the best one out of these 3. Slightly reduce the noise made by the chainsaw. It doesn't matter. You're going to be on their ass anyway. This would matter more on Billy, if anything, but this just still doesn't matter. Speed limiter, your chainsaw does not automatically trigger the dying state, but you get 25% more blood points on a chainsaw hit event. This is completely a gimmick, and again, still compared to Billy. So far, nothing too great besides Spark Plug is decent for a brown. Then we have Shop Lubricant, moderately decreases the chainsaw's cooldown. If you want to do a gimmick with a bunch of chainsaw cooldowns, throw this in there. If you don't, then ignore it, because that's pretty much what it is. It's literally just for gimmicks. Primer Bulb moderately decreases the chainsaw's charge time. This is actually pretty decent. You see a lot of Bubbas run this and a couple of the other add-ons. There's really only like 3 or 4 add-ons that are that good for him, but I'll still go through them all, and if anybody has any questions on how to make certain add-ons that I go over work in like a certain build, please leave a comment down below and I will respond to you and give you an idea on a build for it. I'm not going to go through every combination on here, because some of them just don't matter, and some people may not care. They just want to know what the best way of playing Bubba is, and that's what I'm here to give you. Continuing forward, we have Long Guide Bar, slightly increases the reach of the chainsaw attack. This is decent for hitting survivors when you just think you need that little bit of extra range, but you got to be careful, because you may hit trees, walls. It makes this hitbox a lot easier to hit everything. So going around corners, you got to take them a little bit wider. So like I said, it pros and cons. It's still not great, but I can see what they were going for here. Then we have Knife Scratches, slightly increases chainsaw's movement speed and slightly increases the charge time. So it's going to take a little while to charge the chainsaw, but the backing of this is that, well, now you move faster when the chainsaw gets going and you start swinging it side to side. So it's a fair trade-off. It's yellow add-on, so I don't expect anything too crazy. Homemade Muffler moderately reduces the noise made by a chainsaw. Again, I don't see the point in this. I don't know why this is ever needed. It just feels like they rushed it, and I'm sure they just probably rushed the Cannibal out. His add-ons all just need to be reworked in general, but besides that, yeah, it's again, you can combine it with Chainsaw File, and that's about it. Just then we have Grizzly Chains. Moderately decreases the repair speed of survivors injured by the chainsaw for 90 seconds. It does not stack. I will explain that later for those that don't know. This, I mean, it's a fun idea, but if you insta-down people and they go on the hook, sure, they're not going to be there for 90 seconds, of course. But, I mean, once they get off the hook and they get done healing, I mean, the reduction may not even be noticed if they have a good toolbox, or if they have Prove Thyself and a bunch of other people helping them. It just may not matter. Plus, their decrease in repair speed just, I don't believe is really that marginal. If you want to do something super gimmicky with this one I will give you is like speed limiter. So then you hit them, and even if they get away, then at least you know for 90 seconds they can't repair quickly, I guess. It's dumb. It's really just dumb. Depth Gauge Rake moderately reduces the time penalty when bumping into objects. This, not too bad. I mean, it's stupid that he has a 5-second tantrum base, but I don't know why they had to put that in there. It's helpful if you're learning Bubba. That's really all I'm going to say on that is if you're learning Bubba and you're not used to, you know, what his hits are or anything like that, or like when to turn or what's turning too close to the edge, this could be decent. Other than that, I don't see a use for it. Chili moderately increases their acceleration when using the chainsaw. This is literally just sweeping your chainsaw left and right faster, and basically useless. It is pretty much just fucking useless. It is probably the worst add-on in the entire game. It's so fucking terrible. Well, actually, it's probably the second worst add-on. There's other, but then we got now going into the rare. We have the Grease. Considerably decreases the chainsaw's cooldown. Slightly decreases the chainsaw's charge time. This is not that bad because you get a decent cooldown on the chainsaw after you miss, or if you hit someone. There's a cooldown either way of him swinging the chainsaw in a downwards motion if you miss, or in a vertical motion, or sorry, horizontal motion when you hit a survivor. Kind of like he's happy about doing that. And slightly decreasing the charge time. It's literally spark plug on steroids. That's really all it is. But it's actually not terrible. It's not amazing, but it's not terrible. I can see people running this, and I actually run it myself once in a while, depending on how my add-ons are looking for the other good ones. Then we have probably one of his best add-ons, besides one other one. That's the Beast Marks. Moderately increases the chainsaw movement speed, slightly increases charge time. It's just a better version of Knife Scratches. I mean, they're both slightly increase the charge time, but this is just moderately increased movement speed, so like, why would, if you have these, there's no point in running Knife Scratches. If you want to run them both, the charge time is increased by a decent amount, but once you get going, you move fast. You move really, really fast, so you can catch up to most people, as long as they're not at a pallet. If they're at a pallet, obviously, then they could just drop it and then end it, and then you got to go through the whole rigmarole again, but you will eventually catch them. Just got to make sure you're not doing it at, like, jungle gyms and shit like that, where they could possibly vault it and get away from you. Rusted Chains. Hit targets considerably, or suffer considerably from the mangled status effect for 120 seconds. If they're on the ground, and you're gonna slug them, that's really the only time it's gonna take into effect. Otherwise, getting unhooked, you could argue, yeah, it's gonna take them longer to heal. But when you have stuff like Inner Strength, well, the new perk in the next chapter coming out that just gives you a free insta heal as a survivor just for trading health states, or you have Will Make It. It doesn't matter. Mangled, I mean, Mangled is good. Do not get me wrong. Mangled is really good. But when you're doing this with a chainsaw, it's not worth it. It's really not. Then we have Light Chassis. Considerably reduces the time penalty when bumping into objects. I've done a build with this and the depth gauge, and your tantrum is insanely quick, and he flails around making all the noises a lot, and it's actually quite hilarious. It's not like insane, but if you want a gimmick build that's actually fun, You do bumper Bubba, and you just run these two, and you just run into shit, and it doesn't matter. Or if they hop in a locker, then you sit there and you're just flailing your chainsaw left and right, and it's just a good time. Then we have his best add-on for him, and it's the same as Billy. I believe Billy's got, I think, the exact same add-on. Carburetor Tuning Guide. Moderately decreases the chainsaw's charge time, slightly decreases the chainsaw's cooldown, slightly reduces the time penalty when bumping into objects, and slightly reduces the noise made by the chainsaw, and it stacks. All of these stack. This is only plus sides. You could honestly take off the slightly reduce the noise made by the chainsaw, and it'd still be amazing, because again, the noise just makes no sense. That's just pointless. But all this is really, really, really good. The moderately reduced chainsaw, I mean, it's literally primer bulb shoved in there. You have slightly decreased the cooldown. It's what was this? Chainsaw file? No, it was vegetable oil. That's what it was. It's vegetable oil in there. It's a little bit of everything. And so the best combo to do is usually this and that, because you move faster, and the slightly increased charge time compared to moderately decreased charge time is just like they cancel out, or at least this one overtakes this one. So you have a fairly fast chainsaw, and you catch up to people. Plus, if you miss or whether you hit, that little decrease in cooldown time, it's not a lot, but you know, it's a nice little bonus. Then we have Begrime Chains. Moderately decreases the repair speed of survivors injured by the chainsaw for 120 seconds. Hit targets suffer considerably from the mangled status effect for 120 seconds, and this stacks. Now let me explain. This stacks, this stacks, this does not stack. You cannot do Grizzly Chains and Begrimed and make survivors just repair generators at a fucking insanely slow rate. I don't know why. Maybe that's too strong on Bubba, which is just dumb to think about, because fucking Bubba isn't that insane. I mean, this would have been fine stacking, and it would have actually given Bubba a little something something. This is another one that you can run for a gimmick with speed limiter, but other than that, for a very rare, it's not good. It just isn't. Yeah, they last a long time, but honestly, at the end of the day, who cares? If they have resilience, they can kind of take over the moderately decreased repair speed, and they don't care about healing. So, like, resilience alone plus like a yellow toolbox will just counter this. Then finally, we have the worst add-on in the entire game, award-winning Chili. Tremendously increases the acceleration when using the chainsaw. He swipes faster. Considerably increases the time penalty when bumping into objects. Awesome! I have a very rare add-on that does basically nothing, and it hurts me. Wonderful. It's the whole point of this is just to hurt you, because all you're going to do is bump into an object, and it's going to take you like 6 or 7 seconds to get out of the tantrum. Meanwhile, hey, at least you swung your chainsaw quickly at them. It's stupid. I mean, at the end of the day, the best add-ons are going to be your Carburetor Tuning Guide, the Beast Marks. I'm going to throw Grease in there as personal. Knife Scratches is not bad if you do not have the Beast Marks. And Primer Bulb. These are going to be your best ones. The most fun gimmick you could do is definitely Bumper Bubba with the light chassis and depth gauge rake. And if you really want to do like award-winning Chili and something else, I mean, at least do award-winning Chili and light chassis so you can swing your chainsaw faster. And I don't know, like I really cannot stress how much these two add-ons just suck. They really just do. Same with Chili. Chili just don't touch. Chili, Begrime Chains, and award-winning Chili just don't touch these. I mean, don't touch these either, but if you were going to touch one of these two, I think maybe the repair speed would just be better, hands down, because at least you could somewhat slow down the game a bit more, but that's also just like choosing the best of two pieces of shit. Shop Lubricant, you don't really need. If you got nothing else, though, fine, go ahead. Primer Bulb, good early on, but once you get Carburetor Tuning Guide and Beast Marks, that's all you really need. If you have Beast Marks but no Carburetor, then you can throw Primer in there. Or if you have Carburetor but no Beast Marks, then Primer. Primer is literally like, if you don't have one of these two, you throw it in there. Or you could also, like I said, you could also throw the Grease in there with any of these three if you don't have Primer or whatever. Like, these four are basically Bake Up Bubba. And again, this one is more, I guess, personal. I guess I shouldn't say it makes up Bubba, but I think it's actually pretty decent. And again, this is a depth guide of my opinion on Bubba. So I will defend the grease. If you see the grease and you don't like the grease, then don't run the grease. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. If you type in the comments, oh, I tried out grease and it's fucking useless. Okay. Like, I'm going to give no shits, honestly. Like, if you try it out and you just come into my comments to shit talk it, what do I care? You're probably someone that runs award-winning chili, too. But, no, I mean, for those that actually want to try to get better at Bubba and learn them, carburetor, beast marks, primer, and I'd give the grease a try. If you don't like it, it's just not your add-on. I don't mind running this here and there, so that's all I'm going to say on that. And also, again, I recommend to everybody, even the dude that runs award-winning chili, play Bumper Bubba. Dude, put down the chili, play Bumper Bubba. Just smile. Smile at listening to this beautiful boy get really upset and get over it really quickly. He's getting better. We love you. Let me rub your forehead. Come here. Give me your forehead. There we go. Good boy. Scratch behind your ear. All right, so now we'll get into build ideas. So first things first, we're going to do a budget Bubba build, okay? So this is, you don't have really anything going for you as far as add-ons, perks, and you just need something. Like, you know, you want to play Bubba, but you need something. So first things first, barbecue and chili, you run it. Like, I don't think I should have to sell this to everybody. Run it. It is just one of the best perks in the game, and there's literally no downsides to it. Sloppy Butcher. Sloppy Butcher is good to at least slow down the healing if you have to M1, because sometimes, sorry about that, sometimes you will just have to M1, and if that's the case, then, you know, then go ahead and M1 them, but at least make them heal. So, yeah. So you got barbecue and chili, you got Sloppy Butcher. Next thing you're going to want is Whispers. Whispers is really good for finding people. I mean, that's really all I can really say. I mean, it's just a good tracking perk, and it's free. Then the final one, you can honestly run almost whatever you're feeling. If I had to give you guys some recommendations, though, I'd say if you see a lot of toolboxes or medkits and you are running a build like this, bring Franklin's. Just to make life easier on you, because otherwise it's going to be rough as Bubba. It's going to be rough on the early levels, especially when you don't have good add-ons. Because he's very, very, very add-on dependent, which is upsetting because we love our boy Bubba. Look at him. Give him some scratches. If you don't see many toolboxes or don't see many, you know, medkits that you really want to worry about, medkits don't really matter as much if you're running sloppy, just because they're going to waste them over time. But if you just aren't worried or you don't see a lot of items, then go ahead and run Bitter Murmurs. Bitter Murmurs is decent for tracking, and because you have no gen slowdown early on, might as well find them or see where they're going. But, I mean, that's really all I can say about that. If you really want to go crutch, you can throw Noed in there. I am not telling you to run Noed. I am just saying if you really feel like you need it, there is Noed. I'll go over Insidious in one of my other builds, so don't worry for those of you that are like, oh, what about Insidious? I'll go over it. Don't ever touch Unrelenting. I will always say that. Just don't fucking touch it. If you want to, you can run Iron Grasp. If you're really new to the game and you're starting with Bubba, so you're not too sure on where hooks are or, you know, what to tell, like if you can make that hook or not from the location you're at, then run Iron Grasp. Other than that, don't worry about it. If you're new to the game, also, Deerstalker, not bad. You do want to get used to listening for the sounds, but Deerstalker, not bad. Deerstalker is like I said, it's good for early on people that are learning the game, but other than that, it's like you don't need it. You can just hear people on the ground because there's nothing that muffles their sound on the ground. You can hear them. It used to be Iron Will. You can't do that anymore. Iron Grasp isn't necessarily just for early on, by the way. There is builds for this, and I will go over that. But other than that, the only other perk I would throw in there is Knockout. Like I said, Bubba, as long as you have the three main, you got two ways of finding people, which one actually rewards you with blood points to kind of get this shit and to get better perks. And then Sloppy Butcher to punish them when you have to M1 them. The last perk, it almost doesn't matter. I'd say stay away from Thrill the Hunt just because it doesn't do anything. I mean, the blood points, yeah, but it doesn't matter if you're not running a totem. Unrelenting, I've already said to stay away from. You could potentially run Spies from the Shadows. I'm not saying that this is a bad one. It's just like at that point you have a lot of tracking, and if you get to a late game point where one gen's left and you need a slug, or if you're not sure about hooks, or if you're not sure where to find people, you know, there's other perks that'll help you more than just extra tracking. Extra tracking is never bad. If your weakness is tracking people, then I'd say take something like this so you can track them down and you can work on tracking them. It'll teach you over time, slowly but surely it will teach you. I promise you that, because you'll get used to just when the spies goes off, like there is a notification, but you also get the cawing, so you can soon learn. Okay, when I hear the cawing, like okay, they're over here, they're this way, like directional whispers. You'll find them within your, like if this turns, this will light up. If it lights up, they're in your terror radius. So then you know you have about a 32-meter circle around you, and that's just a matter of finding like which way did it activate. Did it activate when I walked forward, backwards, when I was going a little left, when I was going a little right, and then from that you can just kind of almost give yourself a straight line there. Barbecue, after you hook someone, turn around and just start scanning the map. Look very carefully for them. I know it's 4 seconds, but look for those red auras of survivors. And if you do that and you don't see anybody, they're either A, in a locker, B, they could be, if you're playing at a higher level, they could be hiding behind a gen. If they do it just right, you can actually hide your aura completely because it's red. Or C, they're literally within the 40 meters, so they're right around you. And then, of course, Sloppy Butcher, like I said, slow down healing, which is always good, and gives your M1 a little bit more power. Just a little bit. Now, next, we're going to go over... we already went over a serious build, so let's go over a fun build, okay? Let's give you guys some fun that you guys may like. I know a lot of people love this build. We got good old Basement Bubba. And Basement Bubba, this is where... Oh, wrong way. This is where Insidious comes in. You got Basement Bubba. And you know what? Normally I'm against it, but if you're doing Basement Bubba and your whole goal is to not actually care too much, you need Iron Grass, you need Agitation. Agitation will let you transport bodies 18% faster, and while you're transporting the bodies, your terror radius is 12 meters bigger. Grab them. They're not going to wiggle free, because this reduces their swaying when you're holding them and they're struggling by 75%, and increases their time to struggle by 12%. You do this, and you run them down to the basement, get them in the basement. After standing still for 2 seconds, you go undetectable, and so then you won't have a terror radius. Nobody will know. Nobody even hears your chainsaw just passively running. So then if survivors come down, you rev your chainsaw and you just take them down. If they don't have borrowed time, or if they don't get to their person in time, they're going to die, or you're going to have someone else. And you run Monstrous Shrine with this. You can run Noed. You can run Blood Warden. Blood Warden's kind of an iffy one. If you're going to do that, you want to run Noed, but still. This is really good because then Monstrous Shrine, it's shit, yes, but most survivors are going to see that and just try to Kobe anyway. Well, if they fail that, the penalty's a lot more. It's faster progression, and it's difficult on the escape attempts, so they have less of a chance of escaping, but if they try to escape, it's going to hurt them more, and then they're just going to die faster, so then you can go up and you can go grab someone else. That is the toxic / meme Bubba build. That is what most people expect Bubba to have. And if you're going to run something like that, I would say honestly do Primer Bulb and Carburetor. The only reason why I say do these two instead of the Carburetor Knife Scratches is because you're not going on many chases. You're going on one chase. You're grabbing them, and then you need the fastest chainsaw you could possibly get. So this reduces the charge time by moderately twice. So you want something like that when someone comes down to your basement so you can rev the chainsaw and either get them out of there or down them right away. Next, we'll go into another build that is called the Cunty Bubba build. This is if you just want to be an absolute asshole to survivors and all of them around you. Let's go Blood Warden. Then you're going to want... next one. You're going to want Hex Noed. Then you're going to want Franklin's Demise. And finally, we're going to want... there it is, Rancor. You're going to be an absolute asshole. And you want to be an asshole with Bubba to some survivors that maybe you know are swift, maybe you play with a ton of times and you're just like, fuck these guys. Or maybe you see like tons of toolboxes or tons of flashlights, or they all have keys. Let's just say they all have keys and you're like, okay, fuck this team. I'm going to teach them a lesson. Well, first of all, keys are very hard to find, especially with Franklin's when you hit them. And even if they're green keys, you're going to destroy those keys quickly. But hitting them will drop the keys. If you down them, then, you know, keep playing the game as normal. Rancor, you'll be seeing survivors throughout the entire time, and once you get to the end game, you can expose him, and as long as you down the obsession first, you can potentially hide Noed, the fact that you have Noed, and you can either Mori them, or you can slug them, go down someone else with Noed, and then wait, Mori the one dude, and then go and open the gate, and when the gate's open, take them, put them on a hook. Now Blood Warden has blocked it for 60 seconds, and now you can see them if they're sitting in, oh yeah, it also reveals them if they're sitting in the exit gate area. You hook that person, you walk over, and you just start bopping them with your Noed or your chainsaw, and the game is yours. There are so many ways to guarantee. There's so many second chances in here, and Franklin's is just to be an extra dick. You could swap out Franklin's for just remember me if you really wanted to. So you bop the survivor 4 times, and now everybody else besides the survivor or the obsession who you just moried in this end game collapse, or when all the generators are done. So he's the only one that is not affected by remember me. So everybody else takes 16 extra seconds to open the gate. By the time you get done with the Mori, get over there, you can down someone else with Noed. The gate might get open in that time. Wait for the gate to get open, hook them, and now you just Noed the fuck out of everybody else. Hook them up, and there you go, you win. If you want to be extra, you could bring a Ebony Mori, or you can bring an Ivory / Cypress. This would be one of the few times where you can bring a Cypress. So you get the other 2 dead, and then you just Mori the last guy. Or you bring a green Mori, you Mori this person with Rancor, or you Mori someone else, and then you wait. And, you know, now there's only 2 survivors guaranteed if you Mori one early, and then you Mori the Rancor at the end. Now there's 2 survivors left. One of them has to get the gate open. You down one. The other one is like, fuck this, I'm leaving. He's got Noed. The gate opens, you immediately hook, and there you go. Now it's blocked. Now for 60 seconds they have nowhere to go. You know exactly where they are because they got caught off guard by it, and you run over and you beat them. There's so many ways to play Bubba like an absolute asshole, and yeah, I mean, I'm here to help you with that. But if you guys want a legitimate build, I will now give you guys a legit build. So we're gonna throw barbecue back on, of course. You can run Ruin. This one I'm gonna throw up there. It is optional. With Bubba, one of the best add-ons for him and most 32-meter terror radius killers, and even the 110 ones. It's just a good perk in general. Is monitoring abuse, reducing that terror radius. It gets you a little bit closer. The field of view is a lot better for certain maps, and all in all, it's just it's a solid perk. Like there's only plus sides really. The increased terror radius in a chase, who cares? Like it really doesn't affect much. If you don't want to run Ruin or you don't have Ruin, Pop Goes Weasel is also good. If you don't have Pop Goes Weasel but you have Thrilling Tremors is also good. Something to kind of help the gens a little bit. Obviously, you can throw Corrupt in there too. And then finally, and this one's going to be a personal preference. I like Hex Devour Hope. Gives you a lot of power with Bubba early on. You just keep hooking them, and if they're on your totem, 1, you may see them with barbecue, or 2, you could possibly get close enough to them where they may not notice you until it's too late, and then you could rev your chainsaw and down them. Or if they just decide to finish the totem, well, now you get 1 hit, or you get, you know, the chainsaw down. Either way, you could potentially get someone down for free for the totem. But if they don't know about it, they won't know about it until they either A, see it, or B, you get those 3rd tokens. And by the time you get those 3rd tokens and they find out, you've already gotten the value out of hitting 1 survivor and downing them, as long as they weren't already injured. If they were, then you didn't get as much value because you could have done the same thing. But if you get someone down with the exposed, that's really, really good. If you don't have monitor, but you want something that's kind of like a pseudo monitor, you could do not Lightborn, Jesus. You could do Shadowborn. Shadowborn gives you that increased FOV, and the increased FOV is really, really, really nice for finding survivors if you have a hard time finding them. Other than that, another build we can go with here is we can go with the standard I'm an M1 killer. Please be nice to me. Please do not loop me. And we could go Spirit Fury, Enduring with Barbecue. The only reason I'm not going to throw The only reason I'm not going to throw Brutal in here is because you have a chainsaw. And if you have add-ons, your chainsaw is going to be pretty quick. So you can do that. And this will be helping, and this will help you a lot with looping. So you don't just get bashed constantly, and they can just drop pallets. And even if they drop pallets early, what you can start doing is, if you know survivors are going to know you have Spirit Fury, because they'll fall for, a survivor will fall for it 1, maybe 2 times before they realize, okay, I can't be doing this. Then if they start dropping pallets early, if you can help it, try to swing through it as much as you can when Spirit Fury is ready, because you will force them to stun you with that pallet and break it, and then you'll hit them. You'll catch them every time like that. Provided you get stunned by it when you have Spirit Fury Enduring. If you don't have it, you can still swing through. The point is, you just don't respect pallets. Just don't. If you want to take off Monitor, throw Ruin, throw Corrupt, throw Pop, throw Thrilling. Any of those will all work. Those are all really, really solid perks for Bubba to use. You can still even, without this, still keep Sloppy Butcher. Sloppy Butcher is one you could always keep on Bubba. And you could replace this one with something like Discordance. Discordance, again, help you find survivors. Really nice for that. If you want to throw, like, if you want to do a complete gimmick with Devour Hope, you can have Devour Hope and Thrill the Hunt. Thrill the Hunt will help you, of course, keep the totem somewhat safe. Maybe. You might also be keeping the other totem safe. Who knows? Who the fuck knows? You could also throw Haunted Grounds in there if you want to. Throw them off the scent. You throw Haunted Grounds in there instead of Thrilling. And then you could do kind of like a totem one and do a lot of M1ing. The other one that I'll give you for a build idea is going to be a slowdown Bubba. So we got Dying Light, we got Ruin. Oh, one more page, my bad. And we got Thanatophobia. The biggest thing is I like to keep barbecue and chili on here. If you don't have barbecue, well, actually, ignore what I was going to say. You'll have barbecue because you're Bubba. I was going to say if you don't have barbecue, you can run Whispers, but that's for other killers. This is Bubba. Bubba has it. So you can do something like this, and if you really don't think you need barbecue or you don't want to run it for whatever reason, I'm not going to judge you if you don't want to run it. Surveillance. Really, really fucking slow the game down. You're not Gen Protector, but you're Gen Savage. You're a savage. Like, oh, you got off the Gen? Well, now I see you because of Surveillance. I can hear them more because of that, too. Oh, you're making me... Everyone's really good Survivor. I have to M1 a lot. Well, okay, then I guess I'm M1ing them, and they can just stay injured. Dying Light, okay, well, the Obsession can do shit faster, sure, but now everyone else is suffering, and Ruin is decreasing the gens. For any of those builds, too, aside from the Troll one in the basement Bubba one, with Primer Bulb, any of these, the Beast Mark Carburetor Tuning Guide, or Carburetor Tuning Guide and the Grease, all those work together to really work in tandem. You could also do the Grease and the Beast Marks if you really want to. Any of those combinations work for add-ons. It's mainly those 4 add-ons, though, that I think are still some of the best. Bumper Bubba, there's really no, like, you can run whatever you want to for Bumper Bubba. There's just, like, you don't need a specific build for it. It's just so you can just run into stuff constantly. You could, I guess, throw Play With Your Food in a build with that, like do the Play With Your Food Nemesis build, which, speaking of which, let's actually quickly go over that, because I don't care about the gimmick of this build, but some people do, so we'll go over it anyway, just because. You want something like that, or barbecue, since you are going to be stunned a lot. So you got Pop Goes Weasel, and anytime you get stunned, the survivor that stunned you becomes the Obsession and is now affected by the Oblivious status effect for 60 seconds. Sorry, their aura is shown to you for 4 seconds. Well, because of that stun, because of you breaking a pallet, well, now Play With Your Food, you get a stack, and it's supposed to make it easy to get bonus movement speed, so you can get your 2-3 tokens, and you can end chases sooner because loops go by a lot quicker. You don't need Bloodlust as much, or maybe with Bloodlust it makes it easier to catch them now, like even easier than it already was. Barbecue is, self-explanatory, and then Pop is just probably one of the best slowdown perks. So yeah, that's going to be kind of really it for Bubba. I mean, you can run just about anything you want to. You can run a Terror Radius build if you want, with Distressing and Unnerving Presence and all that. Another one that's actually really good if you want to substitute some shit out in your builds, wrong way again, I keep doing that, is Infectious Fright. Infectious Fright is pretty good. It'll help you find people. I would say if you're running this, you could run it with Monitor too, because you'll have 8-meter increased tear radius during the chase, and you end the chase right when you down them, so you'll see people in your tear radius. Or you can run it with your distressing, or you can just run it by itself. Like, you don't have to necessarily need a real reason. This is just really good for tracking too. Their location being revealed for 6 seconds. It is a scream, so you do not necessarily see exactly where they are. You see where they were when you downed that survivor. So you got to keep that in mind. Some people forget about that and they think they can go right to that spot and find them. No, it means you can go to that spot and then take it from there and try to find the scratch marks or see where they are. But if you're going to run something like that, I'd recommend Knockout, because it's clear you want to do some kind of slugging, and this way people don't see where the person ended up. On top of that, you could also continue running Barbecue, or you could run Deerstalker if you want to just find them quickly again. This is one of the few builds where you could be really good at the game, and you could still run Deerstalker just to make slugging builds work. This is probably a pretty decent slugging build. You still do have Pop Goes the Weasel, which Pop Goes the Weasel you don't necessarily need. You could switch it out with Corrupt to slow things down a little bit. You could switch it out with Discordance to find people. Whispers, like, you're not hooking, so it's not necessarily the best, but you never know with the occasional Kobe's, or you could run Thrilling to find people more. Pick someone up, put them right back down. Sloppy Butcher is, of course, decent, or, like I said, Monitor. And then you just find people everywhere and just start bopping them. Franklin's to be a dick. Franklin's is literally just, you run it to be a dick. There's no other reason to run Franklin's other than be a dick. But other than that, that's pretty much it for Bubba. Pretty basic killer. He's actually pretty decent. He's just very add-on dependent, which is the issue with him. Other than that, I wouldn't say like he's shit. I wouldn't say he's like awful. He's very add-on dependent, and that's what hurts him. Plus his add-ons not being that great, or some of them not being that great, most of them actually. As far as the guide, look forward to that later this week. Or, sorry, the rework idea. I'm still working on my ideas for reworking him, because I want to do something a little different, maybe with the chainsaw. But I also might keep it, so I'm going to kind of do, it's going to be kind of a double for you. It's going to be one rework with the chainsaw as it is, and one rework probably with the chainsaw changed. So if I still can't figure out the chainsaw change, I'll do that one at a later date. I will release 2, and I'll probably release them in 2 videos, just so it doesn't get too rambly, because I don't want to give you guys like an hour video of me going over 2 versions of Bubba. But I will tell you ahead of time, like, for the one that I'm not touching his power, the first one that I'll release, his perks are barely going to be touched, if that. It's mainly going to be add-ons, and I'm going to add a couple add-ons. I'm going to add 2 iridescent add-ons. I'm going to leave these 2 as purple and change them up, and I'll probably add in another purple one. That's a build off of another one of these other add-ons. I don't want to release too much in this video, but do stay tuned for that. My plan right now, hesitantly, is for Wednesday. It could be later than that. There's shit that could come up, and life is unpredictable. I'm going to try for Wednesday or Thursday. If I can't get either of those days, I will either release a video or say something on stream and let you guys know when it is going to be released. But like I said, be on the lookout for that. I am still in the middle of typing up most of it, and I'll do how I did it with the Legion. I'll have my little notepad out, and I'll have it typed up, and I'll go over each one by one, where I hover over it, tell you what it is now, and tell you how I would change it, or tell you if I change it. For the add-ons that I'd add, I'll bold print them for you guys so you can see the names of them, see if they're iridescent, all that, and I'll have them all in order. So you'll have all the brown add-ons, then all the yellow, then I'll go over the green, then I'll go over the purple, then the iridescent. So that will be the order. The power will be first, and the perks will be first, or after that. So the add-ons will be last, but the add-ons also they're going to take the most time, because I've still got to double check with Billy and make sure, there's nothing that stays too overlapping, considering, there is carburetor tuning guide right fucking here. And Doom engravings, which is the same shit. Like, it's just stupid. how like this literally just looks like Bubba's page. So yeah, I'm gonna try to keep everything different, but some stuff I may just keep the same because it is a chainsaw at the end of the day. So you know, a lot of it is gonna be similar because it's chainsaw. Like I really can't do too much to change it, but unless I change the power, and like I said, that'll be its own video. So if you do enjoy this video, or if you want to see more guides like this or more videos from me, I am Scummy Legion. We are one, and please leave a like down below, subscribe, leave a comment if you tell me that my ideas are shit, my guide is shit, I'm good, my guide is good, any of that stuff. Leave what you want. Leave your own feedback. I take it all. I respond to probably, if I had to give a guesstimation, probably about 90% of the comments that I get left. And also leave a comment down below if you want to see more of this and who you would want to see next. So far we've done Legion, of course, as my main, and the Cannibal. And so yeah, let me know who you want to see for another guide. And I will try to get that worked on, and I'll get that out when I can. It'll be after I release the Bubba rework. And anybody that you want reworked, wait for the Bubba rework video and leave the comments on there. I don't want you flustering this video with all the rework comments. This one is just for the guides. So if you see any killers here that you're like, damn, I really want a guide for this killer and I want to know more about him or how to play him, leave a comment. I'll respond with it, and like I said, I'll get them done in whatever order. It is going to be more of a matter of not whether I like you or I like the killer. It's going to be a matter of who is requested the most. Like, if Michael is requested the most, but I have one of my, like, long-time subscribers say, oh, I want to see Plague. Well, Michael's requested the most. I'm going to do Mikey. Okay? Again, it's nothing against you guys. It's just I want to push out the content that you guys want, that the majority of you guys want. So, whoever it ends up being, you let me know, and we'll do another video like this, and then when the Bubba rework comes out, let me know who you want reworked. Alright? Till then, have a wonderful night, and thank you for joining me. We are one.